13-year-old girl disappears on a normal school morning. 3 emergency calls are made, but no police response follows. A mother's haunting words echo, "I feel like someone took her." But the real danger was already inside the home. Subscribe now to uncover the full chilling true crime story of Madeline Soto, a 13-year-old girl whose disappearance revealed dark secrets hiding in plain sight. Madeline Soto, just 13 years old, was a bright and cheerful girl who loved school, friends, and spending time with her family. Known for her laughter and curiosity, she was described by those close to her as kind-hearted, creative, and full of life. An ordinary teenager with big dreams, Madeline lived in a close-knit household, surrounded by family who cherished her deeply. Her disappearance on what seemed like a normal school morning immediately alarmed her parents, teachers, and neighbors, as it was completely out of character. The sudden vanishing of such a happy, well-loved child set off an urgent search, with everyone fearing the worst. Madeline Soto's morning began like any other. After breakfast, she prepared for school, smiling and chatting with her family. A relative drove her to the school entrance, where she was last seen walking toward the building, backpack in place and books in hand. But something was terribly wrong. Madeline never made it inside the school. By the afternoon, when parents arrived for the usual pickup, she was nowhere to be found. Confusion turned to alarm as the school confirmed that Madeline had been marked absent. Friends and teachers were questioned, but no one had seen or heard from her after that morning drop-off. The situation became even more critical as hours slipped by unnoticed. The automated school attendance call did not go out until 6 p.m., a full several hours after her disappearance. By the time her parents were officially alerted, precious time had already been lost, time that could have been crucial in locating her. Panic set in immediately, and frantic phone calls, messages, and searches began. Every passing minute heightened the urgency and fear. The delay in notification amplified the family's anguish, leaving them desperate for answers and fearing the worst. What began as a normal school day had spiraled into a nightmare, with a missing child and critical hours slipping away as Madeline Soto remained missing. Her family made multiple frantic calls to 911, desperate for immediate help. Each call conveyed the urgency. A 13-year-old girl had vanished during school hours, and every moment counted. Yet, despite the clear signs of danger, law enforcement repeatedly labeled the case as low priority. Madeline was far from a typical runaway. She had never acted out, never disappeared before, and her family insisted something was seriously wrong. Still, precious time slipped away. The police did not arrive on the scene until nearly 3 hours after the first call, leaving her parents in escalating panic. Frustration and fear grew with every passing minute, as they realized the system meant to protect children had failed them when they needed it most. Those hours would prove critical, underscoring the devastating consequences of delayed response in missing child cases. When police finally arrived at the Soto home, they began by documenting Madeline's appearance, noting the clothing she had worn that morning. Present during the questioning were her mother and her mother's boyfriend, Stephen Stearns. Officers asked detailed questions about Madeline's friends, daily habits, and recent phone activity, trying to establish any clues about her disappearance. Her mother's fear was palpable. She was visibly terrified, frantic for answers, and desperate for immediate action. In stark contrast, Stephen Stearns displayed a strange, emotionless demeanor, offering little concern or urgency. His detached behavior did not go unnoticed by family or officers, raising subtle but uneasy suspicions. The tension in the home was thick, a stark juxtaposition between a mother's panic and a presence that seemed unnervingly indifferent. As the investigation progressed, Stephen Stearns quickly drew attention with his inconsistent statements. When asked about Madeline's morning routine and who had dropped her off at school, his answers frequently contradicted previous accounts, creating confusion and suspicion. Investigators also observed his body language closely. Nervous glances, fidgeting, and a lack of visible concern contrasted sharply with the panic displayed by Madeline's mother. Each subtle gesture and hesitation became a red flag, signaling that something was not right. While no direct evidence had yet emerged, detectives quietly took note of these inconsistencies and behavioral cues. In missing child cases, intuition and observation can be as critical as forensic evidence, and Stearns' demeanor left an impression that would weigh heavily in the unfolding investigation. Every detail was logged, every suspicious action scrutinized. As the search for Madeline intensified and time continued to slip away, investigators reviewed nearby surveillance footage, hoping for a breakthrough. A blurry image near a local church showed a girl resembling Madeline Soto walking alone. For a moment, it offered a glimmer of hope, Perhaps she had simply wandered off or was on her way somewhere familiar. Authorities briefly considered the possibility that Madeline might be a runaway, but something about the footage felt off. Her demeanor, the timing, and the absence of anyone accompanying her suggested danger rather than choice. The false hope only underscored the urgency of the investigation. As investigators dug deeper, unsettling details about Madeline Soto's home life began to emerge. Her living arrangements were far from ordinary. There was no proper bedroom door, leaving her privacy compromised. Observers noted an unhealthy closeness between Madeline and her mother's boyfriend, Stephen Stearns, raising early concerns about grooming and inappropriate boundaries. Formal interviews with her parents only deepened investigators' unease. Both adults were questioned separately, and their answers often appeared rehearsed, lacking the spontaneity expected in such high-stress situations. Alarmingly, Madeline's phone, a potential source of crucial information, was reportedly accidentally wiped, erasing messages and contacts that could have offered insight into her disappearance. As detectives pieced together the timeline, inconsistencies quickly surfaced. Details about who dropped Madeline off, what she was wearing, and when she was last seen kept shifting. Each changing story chipped away at credibility and heightened suspicion, particularly towards Stephen Stearns. These cracks in the narrative, combined with the disturbing home environment, painted a troubling picture. What had initially appeared as a straightforward missing child case was now fraught with hidden dangers and complex dynamics behind closed doors. Investigators realized that understanding the household and the people within it was just as critical as following external leads. Every inconsistency could be a clue to uncovering the truth. The investigation took a chilling turn when surveillance footage captured suspicious activity near a local dumpster. CCTV showed a figure disposing of trash in a hurried, deliberate manner. Among the discarded items, investigators recovered Madeline Soto's backpack, a tangible link to her disappearance and a devastating confirmation that she had never made it to school that morning. The discovery sent shockwaves through the investigation. This was no ordinary runaway case. Madeline's belongings, essential for school and daily life, were intentionally discarded. The evidence provided a grim, undeniable clue that someone within her immediate circle may have been involved. As investigators delved deeper, they seized Stephen Stearns' phone and hard drives, uncovering a horrifying trove of digital evidence. Thousands of illegal images were discovered, revealing a pattern of sexual abuse spanning years. The scope and scale of the material left detectives stunned, confirming that Madeline Soto's suffering was part of a much larger, calculated abuse cycle. The evidence was not only damning, it provided a clear motive. Stearns' predatory behavior, previously masked by charm and manipulation, was now irrefutably documented. Each file, image, and digital trace told a chilling story of exploitation, grooming, and ongoing harm. This discovery marked a turning point in the case. Law enforcement could finally link Madeline's disappearance to the person within her home who posed the greatest danger. The digital nightmare offered the clarity investigators needed to build a compelling case, exposing years of abuse and laying the groundwork for justice. Once the severity of Madeline Soto's disappearance became clear, a massive search operation was launched. K-9 units, detectives, and countless volunteers combed neighborhoods, parks, and wooded areas, leaving no stone unturned. Media coverage amplified the urgency, while social media campaigns spread her photo and plea for information across the nation. Despite the tireless efforts, hope began to fade as days passed without any sign of the 13-year-old girl. The breakthrough came from an unexpected tip. Someone reported a suspicious flat tire along a rural road near the outskirts of town. Investigators followed the lead, scouring the area with meticulous care. Hidden near a fence, they discovered Madeline's body, a devastating confirmation of everyone's worst fears. The autopsy revealed the cause of death, confirming the violent nature of her final moments. The discovery not only brought tragic closure to the search but also intensified the investigation, shifting the focus entirely onto identifying the perpetrator. The community was left in shock, mourning a young life cut tragically short. While law enforcement prepared to bring justice for Madeline, investigators confirmed a chilling reality. Madeline Soto was never dropped off at school alive. Evidence revealed that her body had been transported in Stephen Stearns' car, shattering any lingering hope of a simple disappearance. CCTV footage tracked the suspect's movements, providing irrefutable proof of his actions that morning. The earlier theory that Madeline might have run away was completely destroyed, replaced by the grim truth of foul play. This confirmation not only solidified Stearns as the prime suspect but also underscored the calculated, cold-blooded nature of the crime. leaving the community in shock and demanding justice for the young girl. Following the discovery of the harrowing evidence, Stephen Stearns was taken into custody. Authorities filed dozens of charges against him, ranging from murder to multiple sexual offenses, reflecting the scope and severity of his crimes. The overwhelming digital and physical evidence left little doubt about his culpability. Investigators meticulously compiled every detail, from CCTV footage and witness statements to the recovered items linking him to Madeline Soto. The pattern of abuse, the timeline of her disappearance, and the chilling transport of her body all pointed directly to Stearns. The arrest marked a pivotal moment in the case, providing the family and community a tangible sense of justice finally taking shape. It also highlighted the critical importance of thorough investigations and the painstaking work required to hold perpetrators accountable. Stearns' charges ensured that the full gravity of his actions would be addressed in court, bringing the case one step closer to closure. Stephen Stearns' trial concluded with a harrowing display of justice and sorrow. Facing overwhelming evidence, he entered a guilty or no contest plea, acknowledging his responsibility for Madeline Soto's murder and the numerous sexual offenses. The court handed down 21 life sentences without the possibility of parole, ensuring he would never harm another child. During sentencing, the courtroom was heavy with emotion. Victim impact statements revealed the deep, enduring pain of Madeline's family. Her parents described the heartbreak of losing a bright, loving daughter and the ongoing trauma of knowing her suffering had gone unnoticed for so long. Community members expressed outrage at the heinous acts, highlighting the broader failure to protect a vulnerable child. The case underscored critical lessons about vigilance, child safety, and the importance of listening to early warning signs. While the sentences brought legal closure, the emotional scars remain, serving as a stark reminder that systemic failures can have devastating consequences. Madeline's story continues to inspire awareness, advocacy, and the urgent need to protect children everywhere. The aftermath of Madeline Soto's tragic death left the community reeling. Many questioned the role of her mother and how warning signs had been missed for years. Friends, family, and neighbors wondered how such prolonged abuse could go unnoticed, highlighting systemic gaps in child protection and awareness. Social media and news coverage sparked outrage, as the public grappled with the shocking reality that a young girl had suffered in plain sight, with her suffering concealed behind closed doors. This case serves as a stark reminder: this didn't happen overnight. Abuse often leaves subtle clues, changes in behavior, unusual relationships, or unexplained fear, that can be overlooked if ignored. Recognizing these warning signs is critical, and proactive action can save lives. If Madeline's story moved you, don't stay silent, spread awareness, share this video, subscribe for more true crime stories, and help protect children by learning the warning signs of abuse. Speak up, stay vigilant, and honor Madeline's memory by ensuring no child suffers in silence. Every action counts. Be the voice for those who cannot speak.